Hi everyone, this is Susan with the Rhinestone World. This video is about converting your fonts to rhinestones using the Rhinestone conversion panel in Silhouette Studio Designer Edition and higher. And stay with me all the way till the end for a special deal. I'm here in Silhouette Studio. This is Business Edition, so it has the same rhinestone features as Designer Edition. And I'm just going to start out by inserting a text box. And I want to convert this text to rhinestones. So let's say I want to first color this black. I'm going to open the fill panel just so we can see it better. And when I select this text box, I can come over here to open the rhinestone panel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the linear fill, and I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So as I make this larger or smaller, you can see that it changes the way that it's filling in the rhinestones. I want SS10 stones for this design, so if I choose that size here, again, it's going to give me just a preview of what that's going to look like. Now I could choose different options here for the type of fill. I'm finding that the linear fill works well for this, so I'm going to stick to this, but you can choose whatever you'd like. And notice now, while I have this text box selected, I could go over here to my fonts and I can use any font that I have on my computer. I'm just going to start entering some of these so that you can see what they look like to compare. Not perfect, not very pretty. So I just used my Alt key and picked up that box with my left mouse button, and it created a duplicate. And now that I still have it selected, I can come over here and just try more fonts. So I could just run through my list of fonts using my down arrow and just see how they look. I'm not finding anything that looks great. I'm going to type in a few more that I know most people have already loaded on their computer. So we can take a look at this one, and I'm just going to make another copy and change it to a different type of font. Let's just try Microsoft Sans. We can see how that one looks, and basically the conclusion that I'm coming to is that these are not perfect, and it's probably going to take some manual intervention. I'm going to start with this Century Gothic just because it's the clearest to me at first pass. So I'm going to delete these others, and I'm going to move this box up just so we can see it. And basically what I would need to do at this point is select my box and open the rhinestone panel again and release the rhinestones so that I can work with each one individually. Notice now that they all have a separate box around them, so they are all separate objects, and now I can begin the process of editing these. So this is just a matter of moving stones around. Now keep in mind that my rhinestone panel already set my spacing at 0.039 of an inch, and that's just kind of a recommended default distance. You don't want them too much closer together, so I don't want to start moving stones around and put them this close together, because it's not going to be able to cut out of my magic flock a nice hole that the rhinestone is going to be able to fall into when I'm brushing my stones in. So again, this is just going to be a process of going through and fixing these so that it gets to a point that it looks good to you. In this case, if I have two E's together, I would probably just work with one and then make a duplicate of the other so that they look exactly the same. So I'm just coming through here and moving each one of these manually and trying to eye them up so that they look closer to an E than they did before. And now I could group this all together with a Control G, and then I can use my Alt key and make another copy of this and move it over. So now I have two E's side by side, and if I just created one like this, I might want to come over to the transform panel just to make sure that they're evenly lined up, and I can continue on with editing. My W looks okay. In here, I just want to remove some of these extra rhinestones and start putting these together in a better shape. Now notice I've created kind of an opening here where I need to insert another stone. I could come in here and use freehand, and when I click on freehand, it'll allow me to put a stone in here, which then I would need to come up and color just so that I can see how it fits in with my design. Another option is that when I create a space like this where I need to fill in another stone, is I can just use that Alt key and my left mouse button, and it will create a duplicate that's already the right color. So I can move these around and put them right where I want them, and this one just doesn't want to move. And just continue going through each of these. Oh, that's funny. So this rhinestone, because I inserted it, I need to release it so that I can move it because I used the freehand to insert that. So another reason to use that Alt key and your left mouse so that you don't have to release your stone. Coming over here to my A, I'm going to delete some of these extras, and I think you see the pattern that this is very time consuming and just takes a lot of patience. So I can move these around, and maybe I want to create a duplicate down here so I have a better little tail for my A. I can also use the arrows on my keyboard to move rhinestones perfectly to the right and left so that I'm not guessing about whether I kept them in line. And I can select a couple of them together, or in this case 3 of them together, and use my arrow key to move them all at the same time. And I'm just going to take a look here and see how we've done. So this is what we have, and it's a little better than it was, but what I want to point out to you is the benefit of using rhinestone fonts that are already made for you. So let me now show you, if I go through that same process, and I'll change this to let's change it to orange in this case, and I'm going to change this font, but this time I'm going to use one of our TRW fonts, and I think for this I'm going to choose the TRW 600 Fancy. So take a look at this font. This is already made for you. So in our description, we also include what size the font needs to be in order to use a certain size stone. So for SS10 stones, the font size is 229. So I know now that this is going to cut perfectly for SS10 stones, and it's ready to go. So let me put a box behind this just so you can see how sharp this looks. I'm going to change the color to black and send it to the back, and look at how nice and clean that is. So this is ready to cut and saved me so much time. So the idea behind our rhinestone fonts is that we have saved you the time from doing all of this work to manually edit these fonts, and they're available on our website. So go over to therhinestoneworld.com, take a look around at our fonts, and if you're ready to get into rhinestones, if this is just something you're thinking about, you might also want to check out our rhinestone starter kit, and it includes everything you need to get started. It also includes this book, Rhinestones Made Easy, which is perfect for beginners when you're just starting with rhinestones. It covers everything that you need to know, including the materials you're going to use, how to use the Silhouette Studio software to make your rhinestone designs, and also step-by-step instructions for the production process. So this is a really great deal and a great way to get started with just a little bit of all the materials you need to cross over into rhinestones. And I have the deal for you. So here is that font, the TRW 600 Fancy Rhinestone font, and this is a really nice font, but it's also nice when you can get 50% off. So use this code to get 50% off of this rhinestone font. You can go over to our website, take a look at our rhinestone fonts and our rhinestone designs, and when you check out, use this code to get 50% off of this font. All right, so if you have questions about rhinestones as you get going with this, or questions about this video, please comment below and we'll see if we can help you. Thanks.